I think more than ever, if you look at the way that our labor has shifted, a lot of the things that we would do, we would go into, and obviously there's a lot of labor positions, but there's more positions on the internet. And when you look at the loss of what you're talking about is the, I guess you'd say the rhythm of your life. You would go out, you would work, you'd be out in front of people, you'd be picking things up, you'd be doing all those things. And so that rhythm is going away. Our rhythms are going in front of this computer, sitting here, getting up and moving. And so there is no new rhythm to shift. This is it. And it
That's
without
right.
without countering without countering what's going on, what you're explaining is that we're having a lot of entrepreneurs create a lot of unnecessary pain and disease because they're not early on during that career of all of that pressure. They're not creating a rhythm of some form of mental, like,
The Move Entrepreneur Evolved Podcast. Get on it.
all right, so we made it to another episode, and today I've got a exciting guest, mind matrix specialist, human body technician, has worked with people that have started out as entrepreneurs to having celebrity status, a global peace ambassador, and the founder of Path to Liberty, Dr. Angela Wilson. How are you?
I'm good. And it's my pleasure to be here.
Well, I'm excited just to hear about your story, how you've created this evolution and came to a formula that you've created that I'm interested to hear about. But I'm going to go ahead and start this off with a statement that you made a while back, and I think it's going to kind of bring some things up, hopefully. So, I lived in fear of death and the sense of uncertainty since birth. I decided to dominate my destiny at the age of 6. So my question was, what was going on at 6 years old where you would have to have those type of emotions?
Okay. You know, one day my father asked every kid, come along, it's like showing something. I thought maybe get a candy, because I rarely get a candy. I thought, oh, maybe he was in the good mood and then we get a candy. Especially me, other kids always get candy behind me anyhow. But who knows, my father actually unfolded a notebook. That notebook covered very carefully. It's in old time, it's very luxury notebook with a plastic, high quality plastic cover. And he started to read our destiny, every kid. That's very shocking. I didn't really understand about my destiny, but I knew they didn't like it. However, when he mentioned one of the siblings will have a miserable life after 40, and everyone turned look at her, and her face looked so naive, hopeless, and that face made me angry. I was thinking, how bizarre, how could you possibly accept your destiny will be like that? If you are 8 at the moment, so how you can live 32 years fighting hard, grow up, go to the school and get a job, and then one day you start miserable life. For me, I would not make any effort. But the point is, I especially get angry with my father. I thought it's very crucial. Even I was 6 years old, but I have kind of old soul in me. And then I look at my father. I ask, how could possible change destiny? My father looked at me, stared at me, looked like I'm an alien. What are you talking about? He said, nobody can change destiny. That shocked me. Because I recall, looking back my life, I was born unwanted, and my mom tried to drown me at my birth. And she always regrets for not having drowned me successfully. And then every day when she abused me physically, emotionally, mentally, she said should have drowned me. And then I was living in the fear of the death, and also after death. I don't know what might happen after death. Especially every day I was following my doctor parents like a shadow in their daily working.
So just to kind of bring that up, so you're saying that at that age that you were at, you recognized that somebody was making a decision for your life.
Yes.
Okay. So
So why my father read the destiny? Who actually determined that destiny?
and then that triggered you to say, I don't, why are you saying that to me? It triggered kind of a journey to find what that meant.
That's right.
Okay.
Because I was living in the hell already. I actually wish a kidnapper could take me away from the hell, because I was abused, and I have to follow the daily routine with my doctor parents to see people dying. Doesn't matter you are rich or you know powerful, or if you are poor, vulnerable. Everyone have a physical, emotional, mental suffering, and then sudden death. And that's really lead me to think I don't want like this. That doesn't make sense to me. Why should I fight so hard? Especially my father said you cannot change destiny.
Do you think?
Yes.
Sure. So do you think that the reason for that of your father or your mother was the sense of we don't, and I could be wrong here, but it's a sense of not having any hope, so no one else should have any hope? And I might be wrong, but is that the sense of why do you think someone inject? Because I don't think it's just your mother. I think this is people in general, right? They do this.
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's exactly right.
So what is it in the person?
Yes.
What is it in the person that is the person that's doing that? If we were to take away your mother and your father, what is it in a person that happens in their life that creates that dominant desire of an experience, or to inject that feeling on someone else?
That time I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
But if my father have a notebook already said that someone actually control it, but I didn't know who control it. Especially I see reality is I'm already living the hell. So if I cannot change destiny, that means the rest of my life will be like this, abused every day, be the slave, be discriminated, and then every day see people dying, and even the newborn baby just die, that's too much for a kid 6 years old. So I told myself I have to make things happen, but nobody took me under their wing, because nobody even look at me, they don't care. So, but how I can save my life? That's only me. But who is me? So I need to find out who is me. Who is the I can save myself? That's how I start the journey, discover the, yeah.
So that took you into a direction of searching for almost self-resilience. Would you say that you had to create a lot of self-resilience? And then what was the next breaking point in your life where you kind of got a break? Because it's not sitting here listening to you, it wasn't always that scenario. So what was that break in your life as you started to get older? What was that hope, that beacon that changed it?
Basically I had to working through it every day, every moment. What I noticed is every day when basically I was living in the moment, I was not sure if I can still survive the second moment. Because my parents are doctor, and they constantly tell you shouldn't be here, you should be dead. And then I worry they actually put the poison in my food. Does it make sense? Because they can make it accidental or something. And then also I was forced to living in a bed, actually have a lot of insect bugs crawling inside my quilt. Even the quilt is clean. What happens is they actually want to protect the rice. So they put a rice pot under my bed. That's in old time. You normally family buy a lot of a big volume of the rice. So I told them the bugs come to my bed can move away. There's so plenty in space. They can put a stone on the lid. No, rats will coming. But they don't care. Nobody listen to me. So every night when I was sleeping, then I start smell the warm smell from the bugs, and I was so scared. The bugs, on your skin, Imagine that. And then you are so tired, exhausted, you want sleep, but this kind of smell, how you can sleep with that? So I have to tune my mind in the condition that I sleep well, comfortable, and bugs will not bother me. So that my life was like the everyday. So the adversity I go through basically is like every day. It's like, for example, my birth date on my legal record is not my real birthday, because they was so pissed off of my birth, and I'm still there, not have accidental death. So when their mistake, when you are 18, the police, whoever made a mistake, they didn't want to bother to change it. So then my father also tried me to remove me from family tree, just because at that moment I was not giving him the answer he want, that he feared pissed off. So that's ongoing things going through. So I recognize one thing: I cannot trying to fix things after things happen. What happens? For example, your parents try to abuse you now. You tell them, that man, can you wait for 2 hours? Let me do a meditation. Yeah, let me cool down. And then when I feel okay, yeah, then you can continue. They don't do it. So that's why I recognize I have to have the mind power, the skill. Whenever unpredictable things coming to me, I am able to predict it, yeah, and to solve the problem before it happens. And when it come to me from the external world, I cannot control. I have to accept it. I will not let that kind of emotion, physical pain to actually change inside me. The reason happens is, I think, around before 3 years old. One day when my mom beat me so painful, I looked at her and I can feel the sense of hatred from me. I was so angry. Then I look at her, I recognize my look at her triggered her anger, even desire try to kill me. I can saw in her eyes that I thought, oh my God, that's a danger to me. So I started to change how I integrate with the environment. And I don't want to trigger the environment to give me more heavier, negative impact. While I need to also recycling, like converting all these negative things inside me to positive and power.
So what was that
Yeah.
where was that in your life there? Where was the change? Was it academics? Did you start a business? Where was that transition where you took that energy and put it somewhere? Because that's a lot of energy to hold as a young child. That's a lot to carry. Where did you take that energy and push it? Where did it end up going out?
Okay, so basically after I escaped from hometown. And then I, fighting for my future, do the, what is called, I even working at the construction area, trying to make a living. Then I recognize I have to go to the uni. Yeah, because I see people go to the uni and they have a different direction. Then go through the uni, I recognize, although I was heading to the business, yeah, because when I was in uni, I was already started helping foreign investors, company, to make a deal with government, yeah, and settle down the business. Then I recognize one thing, and so many investors are trapped to wrong direction. I remember the first time I saw the contract. That's the first time in my life saw business contract. But the Japanese boss asked me to take over because the other staff actually pregnant. Yeah, I was doing the part-time job. Although I never saw the contract, but when I read it, go through, I just can sense this is a fake contract. So I checked some point, and then I was worried I will lose the job if I tell he's like a challenge his intelligence, because staff who go take through the contract already working on that for many years and the trust. Yeah. Then I recognize there's something not right in business world. Yeah, and how people integrate with business, with the mind, there's some trigger. And I told myself, I have to combine what I already practice since childhood every day, connect with the business together and help business owners go to another level. Basically, you can see globally so many people in working so hard for the money, then they invest in different projects or partnership or even investment, then it turns out and be trapped into the wrong direction. Yeah. So I recognize in 20, I have to combine all this together. However, because I was living in the like most of us, like you are brainwashed, you need to be successful and do things for the family, be acknowledged, be accepted. Yeah. You work your ass off to help your family.
Yeah.
Then one day you recognize dreaming desire. If you are driven by the desire to please others, is not sustainable.
Say that. Why don't you say that again? So the desire to please others is not sustainable.
No, your driving success. Yeah, the reason behind basically is the motive behind your success. If it is based on you trying to please others, that is not sustainable. Because when I was in 30, I recognized I lost everyone, lost all my family. Because I was chasing success so hard, I tried to please everyone. I thought I can buy in love. Then turns out you have the feeling you live in the luxury property, you have everything, you think you already reached your top success and your parents should be proud of you. It turns out you recognize the truth. They want you to have accidental death immediately. And then they can take over all the assets because I already prepared my will. Because I live in different place and they can never access all my property assets if they don't know what I have. So what I did, actually, I packed everything, put it in the documents.
So let's go back a little bit so that I can follow it, because I think what you're saying, because you're unpackaging a lot, right? I mean, you've got a lot of that's here. So as I go back and hear this, at the age of 20, you started to go through uni, but it sounds like you started negotiating deals as well. Am I right?
Yeah, in 20, I escaped from hometown. Then I fighting through the way and to go to uni, and meanwhile you do part-time job. But then I recognize there are the gaps between how you feel internally and how the real world, the business world, is different. In the business world,
there's an interesting saying that says separation between church and state.
yes.
And I think that what you're saying is that you could ultimately do certain things through the church and you can do certain things through the state. And what you're saying is that in that same notion, you're saying that to be successful, you have to understand that both have to play their roles.
That's right. I have to understand both, but meanwhile, I have to bridge the gap.
So what you're saying is that as you went through this journey for yourself, is that you went through this tumultuous experience, which has a lot of emotional things. To hear your story is heartfelt. And as you go through that, though, you had to build some kind of counter to that, which is less emotional. Does that sound right?
I think is to actually release the energy. Use your words, release all the energy.
Okay.
Because you see, why is what I saw from childhood, what I experienced, what I saw all these successful people encountered, yeah, because my parents actually was celebrity doctors, yeah, and in that local celebrity circle, the high-ranking officials, all these people, they need my parents. Then I saw what they suffer. Then in uni, when I started working, I recognized I saw the same thing, same suffering. What I saw in childhood from all this rich, the powerful, but meanwhile I suffer. So what I say is not just me, everyone is suffer, living in the hell. But I just was a person very conscious with that, and I don't like the feeling. Because in my childhood, I was started to sense my body, nobody take care of me, so I need to take care of myself. I can feel any kind of small emotion can merge from myself, but others do not have that awareness. But when others have that kind of awareness, what they happen, they accumulated the pattern from the family, from the childhood. So that become the trigger in their later issues like mental health issue, emotional health issue, physical health issue, all come back from, what you experienced negative from the past. And I didn't want that. That's why I'm walking through my life journey to basically you use mind power to kill that mental strength that can pull me down. Then in business, I recognize, hold on, everyone is suffering. Then some people trigger others to benefit themselves, and hurting others. So then also you were talking about religion. Then I also I was actually baptized, in the church because one of my teacher, our main teacher told me, since you are alone here, why not go to the church with his wife? So his wife took me to church every weekend. So I started to look at the church practice. Yeah, but remember, my parents came from the background, do not believe in anything. Yeah, and my father was a Communist Party member.
Okay.
And the point is, if a Communist Party member, why you show us the destiny? That's not a Communist Party, allowed, So inside, they still think something is there to control the destiny. So then I started to think about what's the gap between. But if we cannot fix the gap between, you can see so many people, they go to cultivation. Yeah, they go to business, fighting, then tap into depression, anxiety, PTSD. Then they think, oh, I need help. Go to church, go to temple. But they have the gap. So they still live with all this suffering the rest of their life. It doesn't make sense.
So one of the things that I think is interesting about this conversation, and I think that what I'm getting from you is there was this transformation that you started to recognize that there's a problem, there's a gap here.
Yeah. So
And I agree with you. And I think that there's a couple of things that are interesting topics to bring up. And one is, it was one for me. I think that because I grew up going to the church, I grew up, in a church and everything like that. And the idea of energy, or the idea of, different types of, let's say, solutions, I guess, medically or whatever that is. What are you finding in the transition of people accepting those things? Because it's not traditional medicine. It's none of those things. And as I traveled the world a lot, I've been in a lot of Asia, I've been in a lot of Europe, I've been through those countries. Certain countries accept these things and certain people don't. And to break the mold of the entrepreneur to be soft, where do you find that? Like, where do you find that solutions coming about? Or is it just weird still?
When you're talking about soft, do you mean if you merge the spiritual practice?
Yeah, I think that it's so a lot of times you have, and I'm only going to use this just because it's the only term I can think of, but the alpha female, alpha male, usually in leadership, has a block. And for them to be able to, I spend a lot of time doing meditation and things like that, but there's a lot of let go. There's a lot of fear that's there. So what do you think is happening in the entrepreneurial space, in the acceptance of the hocus pocus, the taboo, the weirdness of energy? What do you think's happening in that space?
That's a very, very good question. Okay, our society is set up in a way like the brain are programmed in a certain direction. So that makes the majority have certain kind of mindset or identity, trapped into kind of identity fear or acknowledgement. That's from external world.
Okay.
So what happens if we bind what external world and trying to working on you, you start to have a fear. You start to think, okay, I maybe don't feel fit in, yeah, because the society think should be a certain way, should be many, or women shouldn't be in that position. If you buy in that, you attract.
Okay.
So what I recognize is I started to actually convert the energy. Yeah, I call it mind power, is inside me. Outside, if you buy in that, you are trapped into the direction, then your behavior, your thoughts and fear all follow that. But if you start to focus on inside yourself, okay, I acknowledge the outside words, what they show to me, what they want me to be into. But I know if I buy in that, that will trigger me to the wrong direction. So what I would do is I start using my power. Yeah, that's what I train clients.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever energy comes, a negative or I see that can be harmful later on, can trigger something I don't want it. What happens, you can use your mind power to actually, let's use a metaphor. It's like, when you watch some movie, Star Wars, there is kind of energy. If it's something harmful, you can actually take it, part of you become a weapon. That's what happens in the mind power training, my mind power training. What happens, for example, people who have a depression, anxiety, PTSD, all connect with two things. One is what the information they feel inside their body connect how they respond to the external world. That accumulate the energy and make them start into a certain symptom, then be diagnosed PTSD, depression, anxiety, OCD, whatever how you call it. However, if we are able to actually convert the energy come into our body, then you use it, shift it, the power as a fuel. It's like, okay, you are, your whole body is like a car driving you, heading the direction of your whole life journey, like a car, right? Then real car, you need to always top up the petrol fuel. But in your body, where is the constant unlimited fuel energy? Is not from food. Yes, food we need, but there are also people, I also practice that, go through that level. I can survive without any food, just drinking water, without juice, anything, survive 10 days. So what's the energy? What I use is use the energy around me. Use the energy, negative energy, actually can convert into the power. That's the point.
One of the things that, and I've done my fair share of Tai Chi, and I think that one of the things that comes into topic is, this is where it gets very weird, right? I think this is the transformation that I'm sharing, is like, for me, thinking about religion and think about business, and then think about what meditation is. And this is something I've talked with a lot of people, is that what I'm finding through meditation is there's really just a tool. It's literally a tool. It literally is this function that is 100% separated from whatever your religious experience is. And I think that our entrepreneurs need this tool as much as they need exercise, as much as they need love, as much as they need affirmations, that this tool is what it is. And I think that what you were sharing a minute ago was like so true, in a sense, connecting that if you ever try Tai Chi, when you do Tai Chi and you start to actually do the pushing hands or whatever that function that you decide to do, or that form, the more you slow down, you start to feel the resistance in life. And I think what you're sharing is that the resistance is important. The resistance.
I think you actually mentioned very interesting things. I share with you.
Okay.
I am the 22nd Taoism energy healing used for health rehabilitation, preservation, 22nd generation. And basically, there are also a kind of Tai Chi, but called differently. But actually, is all different shape of form to energy healing. Depends on you focus on movements, yeah, or you focus on another level, which I do. Actually, is not about the shape. is about what is going on behind the shape, is the energy flow inside the body. So then meditation also actually is working on the energy. Then that energy in the meditation, in the Tai Chi, in when you practice in religion or practice in business, actually is what? Is also a mind power. Is a power energy can use the mind power and tap into that and tweak it. That's what most people trying to find a solution to kill their depression, anxiety, everything, but fail because there are gap, there energy gap. That gap comes from the mind power. That's a different thing. One is mental strength. Yeah, we need to be successful. We need to do this. Even we do meditation. When we do the meditation, our mind can go to different states. Depends on what kind of meditation you go through. But the point is that's different from the mind power. The mind power is you use the power for your purpose. If you practice Tai Chi, you may also like watch Chinese Kung Fu movie. Yeah, you see Kung Fu in the Kung Fu movie and Kung Fu master to the high level, they, yeah, that's right. You know what? Now actually we can talk about him. He was a Kung Fu master. Yeah, he was a Kung Fu master. What's his English name?
Bruce Lee.
Oh, Bruce Lee. Yeah. He was the English. He was the Kung Fu master, but he died miserable, right?
Well, actually, so a guy named Chuck Norris tells probably the most honest story is that he had an aneurysm in his head, and they tried to, and again, I'm not going to be a historian about him, but ultimately they want to wrap the story gloriously around him being in a fight that he could not handle, and that happened. But what the true story is, I believe that I heard from more people, is that he had combined medications and had a brain aneurysm, and then he passed away.
Yeah, yes, you're right. And then his girlfriend outside his marriage, actually shared the story, and he died in her bed. And because in her bed at her home while she was not at home, because there are many Hong Kong dialect interview about her. Now she come out talking about the stuff again, and then yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what happens in him? Yes, so I'm talking about the Tai Chi, the Kung Fu, and how that energy can connect with the health. Then we can mention the Jet Li. Jet Li also a Kung Fu master, but do you know he suffered traumatically the wealth loss and also health issue because there is an energy gap in the mind power. So once we are able to bridge the gap between the energy and use it as a mind power, actually we can use that to kill the root causes of any symptom, or root causes of physical symptom, emotional symptom, and mental symptom. That's what I found out when I was 6. That's how I survived without trapped into any physical, emotional, mental health issue. Yes.
I grow peppers. I grow jalapenos, and I grow Carolina Reapers and some Serrano peppers. And one thing that I think is interesting as I'm growing these peppers, and kind of what you were talking about a minute ago, though, is that they need peace, but they also, what I found is that they need to have a lack of water. So they, like wine, they need the pressure to actually create quality wine. So in a pepper, you can just grow the pepper and it'll come out great. But when you actually starve it of water, it forces that friction to create a hotter pepper. And the same with wine is that creates the friction. I think that what you're sharing, which is something I think, is that entrepreneurs and business owners are always at the friction. They don't ever give themselves the peace. And I think what you're sharing here is, it's a great example of what entrepreneurs need. It's like, you got to heal yourself. you gotta, you can't fight all the time. I think that's kind of the play of what I was kind of sharing. You can't do that all the time.
Yeah, the reason they do all the time, because they only see a percentage of the truth about the whole life journey. I actually start to use a metaphor to make people understand better about life. It's like life is like surfing on the waves in the sea. So every time, if you want to survive as a surfer, yeah, what you need to, you have to be able to have a lot of skill, practice how to surfing go with the wave without being pulled down. Because under the wave is a pool hole, can pull you down to the bottom of the sea, and you are going to die. And life journey is like this. But most people don't say it because they see peace everywhere. But now we're talking about the COVID-19. We never thought that it would happen. So now people living in the fear of death, caught by the suffering, yeah, and the die, or they are not sure about the future. But I already worried that when I was 6, and I found a formula. So what happens is, when we cannot see the truth about whole life journey, we take every project as a single independent project. However, the whole life journey is one project. Or every day, what we do every day, or every project we run, even business, career, personal life, is just a part of the whole project of the whole life journey. That they should align. It's like a big machine, have a lot of different parts, and each part have to be able to adapt and be fit in that part, and to make it a whole piece. Otherwise, it doesn't work. That's the reason.
I think that this is a topic that is really important to entrepreneurs and business people, because I think it's like, it's not everything. Even business is not everything. So in that sense, kind of going back, let me kind of go back in your story a little bit. So you decide that these are structures that are areas that you maybe want to fix. You become passionate about filling the gap. And I noticed that you do a lot of public speaking, and you've been to a lot of events, and you've spoke at those events. What I'd like to kind of talk a little bit about is, in that decision that you decided to do that, there's a lot of people that don't public speak. There's a lot of people that don't speak their voice. What do you think, stepping away from everything that you would do in your business, what do you think public speaking does for someone that wants to share their passion or their business, like as just a function in business? Like, what did it do for you making the decision to actually go speak? Because you could do this one-on-one, but you decided to go and speak about it. What did that do for you?
I think that's for productivity. Yeah, multiply. I'm a person always, we normally say kill 2 birds with 1 stone, right? I want to kill 100 birds with 1 stone. Okay, and life is too short, and especially I think I do need to share my story with a big crowd, so more people can learn from my lesson. So do not need to go back, repeat the same mistake or same kind of suffering I go through. And especially I already found the formula. So basically can help as many people to stop the suffering, go to the wrong direction. If I may say what I already know, this is not to say I guess, this is I said I know. Majority of us is heading to the cliff edge without awareness. Why I say that? If you go to my website, pathtoLiberty.com, you will see 12 typical critical cases I pick up from news, all about the super successful entrepreneurs, super rich billionaires, or have evidently have the strong mindset.
Who would be an example that you have?
For example, like a Stephen Jobs.
Okay.
like Paul Allen from Microsoft, and also Steve Bean from Hollywood, a billionaire tycoon, and the other typical one is Stanley Hong, the king of gambling industry in Macau. He lived at 98. Everyone wants to live a longevity, yeah. But he lost control of all his assets, I think, after 80. When what happens when we're getting older, and our conscious mind doesn't really maybe work well, yeah, and then people who we trust maybe at our age die, yeah, and then new generation come to actually want to support your children, next generation, because that's their future. So although you set up with what is called with legal term, legal things, it doesn't work anymore. Yeah, and then especially, you know, he actually made a very sad statement in an interview on Medium, saying he was robbed. Can you imagine? He spent his whole life fighting for his empire. He lived in like a queen, like a king. He has several wives, so many grandchildren. He, you know, he was powerful. But then, heading when aged, we may be connected with dementia, you know, or physical disability. We start lose the power, lose dignity. And then, especially, he didn't want to die. And then he spent over, I think, 15 billion Hong Kong dollars, that's in the Chinese news in Hong Kong, and to try to live longer, but at the end he still need to die. Yeah, that's what happens. For everyone need to go die. Then at the day when he died, his face was so scared. So when your face expression, you're so scared, you definitely don't say God. Am I right? That's
Yeah,
a tip.
I don't know.
Yeah, if you say God, you should be happy. Why you get scared? You know.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, people are heading to the cliff, wrong direction, tragic ending, without knowing what's going on in life. Why like that? But once we understand the mind power, we actually bridge the gap. We actually can reverse it, prevent what we don't want happening.
Do you think that some of those things, because I have kind of a philosophy in a sense that it takes some of those, Steve Jobs said it, right? It's the crazy ones that change things. And if we're all trying to be all peaceful and all conversational and all of those things, where does that friction come that creates creativity? If we're always trying to settle the leader, get him to calm down, and where does that come in? I guess I'll have a quick story about that. I was living in Thailand, and a gentleman named Tobias, and we did a lot of meditation together. He was a monk, and he was a great guy. And what he said to me is, I asked him a question. I said, "This is great," because I was doing a lot of meditation with him, but I was in a jungle where you hear birds and you hear like exotic birds that I don't hear. And then I said, "This is great. But what happens when I go back to LA or San Diego and I got the guy that cuts me off and he's now wants to kill me?" And I'm not saying it's that crazy, but he has a different state than I'm in. And an interesting statement, he said, "You will be prepared, because if you meditate, there's a small little like muscle that takes away the reaction time." So what I found in that was that the practice of meditation creates the muscle of reaction.
Yeah, can be that way. That's what happens with most people use meditation to actually to get that point. Yeah, and put like this: when I was in childhood, I didn't understand what is called meditation at all, right? But I was forced in a situation, you know, bugs around you when you're sleeping, you know, you feel scared, then you automatically practice how to get to the point without doing the meditation. So meditation is the state that your mind is able to tap into the zone, yeah, to make you do not react in a wrong way. But point is, for entrepreneur, life is so busy.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much work to practice meditation, yeah? So what if you have the mind power? Actually, you can meditate anytime. For example, like I'm talking to you, I already meditate.
Mm-hmm.
However, put like this, if suddenly something attacked me, even invisible, I'm talking to you, but meanwhile, I am still can kill that energy come to me. That's what I'm saying. So what happens is, for example, I use Stephen Jobs as example.
Mm-hmm.
If you check the news, of course, on my website, I mentioned that Stephen Jobs actually had 9 months time before his operation. Then the doctor said, and people around him said, he wasted the 9 months, precious 9 months, to basically he postponed his operation 9 months because he think human beings have the potential and he should be able to recover, fix himself.
Mm-hmm.
He tried everything.
He spent a lot of time in India. Yeah, he spent a lot of time in India. Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. He was a vegetarian. He was very spiritual. He tried everything, energy healing, you name it. But why he failed? Why he failed to save himself? He actually did the right thing at the wrong time, used the wrong strategy. What he didn't contribute to generate the mind power to kill the symptom. So that's why I'm always saying, doesn't matter what we practice, meditation, mind rewinding, every technique, there are gaps between. That's why most people still cannot really to make that happen, to live a life without suffering. One big reason, two reasons, two level of reasons behind, if I may
But let's go through it. Let's go through a few of these. Yeah, I'm interested.
That can be very hurting for any audience who hear that. Okay, if you read this book, Outwitting the Devil from Napoleon Hill, everyone who are in the trance looking for success, basically all know Napoleon Hill. Yeah. The one book is Outwitting the Devil. I was so happy I found this book. In this book, describe human being, 98% human beings are trapped, determined, basically like a default. Yeah, have to trap into the misery. The other 2% actually randomly, we don't know if we will be the 2%. Yeah, randomly can survive. Okay, and also what happens, what mentioned in this book, chapter 6, hypnotic reason. You look at the global scale, most successful people all tap into NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. That actually is a hypnotic reason, typical hypnotic reason. And hypnosis, or even we use a meditation, to actually feel cool, coming down. Actually, we are also trapped to a direction of a hypnotic reason. It's very hard for hear that. But point is, this is exactly the trap. So in order to make people do not feel so scared, oh, our life is trapped to this, I cannot do anything, then, oh, it's better I don't want to know it, then put the head, bury the head, I'm in the sand, yeah? And my secret formula actually is designed to kill everything.
So basically, what you're saying is there is a rhythm that needs to be handled. And
hypnotic rhythm is a universal law. And most people talking about universal law, actually that's a trap. So in order to save us from trap into the human tragic predestination, we have to have the mind power to hold us to the other direction instead of this one. And I want to make audience feel more comfortable with what I just show you. Another level is what? this is just an ecosystem, like a cow, birds, they born and die. But look at the life of a cow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. In the farm, the cow can, enjoy the life, eat grass, even have sex, intimacy, have baby, family. But the point is, human beings are standing there, have a barbecue. It's beef. So the cow was there, enjoy his life. He will never think that beef might be his future. Mm. That's the metaphor I always say about human's journey. So in the ecosystem, human being is also the one product of nature. Yeah. So we have to die anyhow. And we in the ecosystem, the hypnotic rhythm actually working our brain at the unconscious mind level, and the most professional and misunderstood it as a subconscious mind. That's what I normally debate with it. Yeah. What happens then? Ecosystem use hypnotic rhythm to trap people in the direction, and we feel cool, we feel successful. Then in a sudden second moment, we are trapped. We want suicide.
I think that it's interesting to have this conversation because the majority of people that are in business do have that driver mentality, and they do have that mentality of like, I don't want to handle that because if I change, they might not be saying this, but if I change my vibration, then it's going to throw everything else out of whack.
Oh no, that's a misconception.
Correct. I'm agreeing with you, but I think that what entrepreneurs do, or business owners and leaders, is they're afraid to break that barrier, because if they break that barrier, it might not be a very good looking crutch, but it's the one that they have.
Yes. Yeah. But what happens? You can see many entrepreneurs, when they feel so much overwhelmed in the business, or they think that they feel empathy, they actually change their direction. Yeah. And then maybe they just want to live a life, be spiritual on the cultivation journey. They are not that ambitious anymore, right? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
You see, reality, what happens with people? It's like there are two gaps. One is the entrepreneur, be ambitious, be aspiring, yeah, be demanding. Mm-hmm. The other one is detached, is spirituality cultivation. I share with you, I did that testing. I was in the serious process to be a nun. Why? Because I already reached my dream the success in early 30s. Sure. Yeah, then I think next step, because I recognize money actually disclose the truth about how my parents want me. So why should I working hard for them? You know what I mean? Working hard for them, and the end of it, I saw all these things. So that's why, that's also the time I tap into the deep level. I want to live with a real abundance of fulfillment without affected by other people. Or try to please others and then get love me, I'm doing for you. And I recognize it's not sustainable. That's also the reason why I, go to another deep level. I actually spend over $1 million do all the research, academic study, and the clinic, research, everything. Because I want to see the gaps between everything. Whenever I see that there's something there, I maybe want to find out. I just spend money. Then I get tap into that zone to see what's going on.
So what's the first, like, what would be in your mind? And you accept that you're someone's quite rigid, and they know that they have those maybe tense type personality. They're tense. They have a lot of that going on in their life. What do you think it is that the first thing that they need to accept to be able to venture into something like this? Because for someone that hasn't experienced meditation or experienced the energy that changes, it's pretty weird. it's pretty weird. So what do you think that somebody should do for the very first thing that they should try to tap themselves into this difference of energy?
I think it is not the intention to tap, is why to tap. Why?
Okay.
Why need to tap? So I basically, if this book, what is mentioned in this book, cannot wake up that person, then that means that person belongs to the 98%. So because in the at the global scale, yeah, and the put like this, universe wants to make sure that enough people, enough mindset that can create negative energy to serve the earth. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's kind of bizarre. So if that person do not want to look at the truth and use accurate thinking, looking at all these top success people I listed on the website, pathtoLiberty.com, if those people who have so much social resources and as powerful financially and then super mental strength still cannot control the destiny, how about the rest? What's the trap? And I already mentioned the trap is because of hypnotic reason. That's a law of the universe. So if we do not practice the mind power, against that, we will tap into the wrong direction. When I'm saying that wrong direction means what? Our physical body will die. But if everyone understands, Einstein said, everything is energy. Our physical body is energy, but this physical body is not real us. So many people, they don't know who is the I, which I was asking a question when I was 6. The I is the one actually inside this physical body. What happens if we facing the coma, car accident, whatever, have a coma, right? Our consciousness doesn't work anymore. Doesn't matter how good you are with the NLP. Yeah, even that's a programming. Okay, when your consciousness is lost, you cannot use a neuro-linguistic programming. You cannot use meditation to save your life
because you're not tapped in. Because you're saying you're not tapped into that energy field anymore.
Yeah, because of your consciousness. When you are in car accident, you are in the coma. Your conscious doesn't work anymore. You lost the conscious. Yeah. So when we use the mind reprogramming. When we try to reprogramming the mind, we need to use a conscious mindset, rational mindset. If we lost the conscious in the coma, how we can do it? However, once we are able to tap into that mind power actually is from the unconscious mind. When we are in deep sleeping, yeah. Put like this, when we are in deep sleeping, we maybe have a dreams, yeah? When in the dream, you maybe get scared, excited, but that's an emotion. But detached from that emotion, there is a energy zone, actually is the real unconscious mind, that's the real mind power come from. Then you can use that mind power actually to what? To kill everything you don't want in life, protect you from the hypnotic rhythm. Then what happens? Once we are facing the gate of death, everyone will face that anyhow. You don't need to worry where you go. You don't need to, because what happens every day when you practice, when you are in business, in career, personal life, if you are able to generate the power as much as possible, you accumulated the invisible assets. So when you are in the coma, yeah, conscious not there, and nobody, you don't know who, if the people around you really love you, want you to survive or not. I see so many cases, especially if you have so many assets when you are there, they cannot access the assets. What happens when you have the mind power? Even you are in the coma, your mind power start working, continue. Keep calling can continue working. For example, like Stephen Jobs, yeah, even in the operation, yeah. Even in the operation, I do help clients like this to train that I talking to the ear. As long as the ear can hear me, I start talking in the unconscious level, then start do the working while their surgeon working on their body. I working in another level. Then what happens? That unconscious mind is 80% of a human potential. So the 10% conscious mind, the 10% emotion, are all controlled by the 80%. So use neuro-linguistic programming is what? It's actually depress that 80%. That's exactly the mistake the Stephen Jobs were trapped into. That's why he tried his hard. I tried so hard, tried to tap into his mind power to save his life, failed. And you mentioned also how people can be tap into the soft energy. Yeah, when you do meditation, talking about global peace and love, then it's a different energy zone. Then when you are talking about business, it's compete, fighting, right?
Yes.
But actually, that's one thing. That's exactly what actually triggered people think that it doesn't work. If I focus on business, I cannot think in that. Otherwise, I would be weak. No. So when you are actually tapping into that right mind power, you whenever the negative things come, you are able to convert in the fuel you need. You can be soft when you need it. When you can be very, very strong. So I started talking about in the coming the World Mental Health Congress. I will speak about kill any root causes of physical, emotional, mental health issue with your mind power. I use the word kill. But meanwhile, I also say let's spread love, make it more contagious.
I think you're absolutely right. And I think that one of the things that you answered it a little bit in a sense of, I think the only way to describe this is once you understand, let's see if I can explain it. Most people that are not doing any meditation or have, when you share, oh, do you meditate? And they go like, I don't do that. They haven't really seen it, because I think once you see it, then you realize you can control it.
That's one reason. There is might be another reason, because I saw a video from an online entrepreneur who actually is quite known now. I don't mention his name. He said he don't want to do meditation. He said, I don't want to be trapped into the situation. I lose control.
I think you were talking about Gary Vee.
You mentioned the name. Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned it. Okay.
Yeah.
Mentioned that.
No, he did.
Yeah.
And that's a really good thing to bring up. He brought up about how he's afraid that if he does that he's going to lose his spark. And that scientifically, there is something to that. But also it sounds like he figured out how to compartmentalize some of his own personal issues. Like he's figured out how to like solve certain, he's on a path for personal peace already.
Yeah. How I look at things may be a little bit further, because I'm working on is how the success cover the whole life journey. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then especially when because we were going to die anyhow. So you are able to generate the power to kill anything, especially when face the gate of death. We need enormous, unlimited mind power to take us to another level. Doesn't matter where it will be, the heaven or reincarnation, doesn't matter. Yeah, that's not the topic we're talking about here. But the only way we can survive and get out of the trap of the hypnotic reason in the universe is generate enough mind power. I'm not sure if what he's doing, yeah, because I didn't have a direct conversation, but if he was not in the process to generate the power, he will not head into that survival direction. However, from what he said, being scared, that also means that is a sign that he didn't generate the power. Why? Because for me to doing this work, yeah, I tap into unlimited dimensions. Mm-hmm. I see all kinds of scary things. When I serve clients, I do remotely. I read people. I remove the things that people cannot see. I see it. That's different dimension. The point is, I don't need to tap into the meditation to do it. But people have a fear. I share with you. That's reasonable. Why? I have a family came to me and they love a certain type of meditation. Very cool. Actually, is very famous in the global scale. You know what happens? His son triggered to schizophrenia. Uni. Then the whole family come to me. They tried everything, tried to fix it, couldn't. And I also know there are many other cases. I have monk came to me. You know, and I do the research from different religions. What happens when people tap into the meditation, and then their mind starts to try to reduce calm, right? And then in that process, when you are doing that, then that can trigger, sending the vibration can trigger different dimension. That's also the reason why so many people practice so energy healing, trapped into schizophrenia. Really, I know that from my childhood. One of my classmates.
So let me hear what you said again. Are you saying that people that have tapped into meditation have tapped into schizophrenia as well?
Yes, many people will have this. Will happen. Put like this: energy healing meditation is the same thing. In essence,
Are
is
you
the
saying
same,
that
but
because it's is it a chemical trigger? Is that what you're saying?
Now, what happens? Remember, I talking about that the ego system is constantly working on our human body, trap us into the wrong direction. What happens today through the unconscious mind? However, in order to tap into the real level of unconscious mind, you can control everything. There is a fake image, is fear, and it's a rubbish. Sigmund Freud also talking about the human's fear, all the, secret things, the emotion, most dark side, is in the unconscious mind. No, that's actually is the emotional level, is the subconscious mind. But that when people trying to do the meditation, in order to reach the level of really control the states, you are not able to be triggered to anything. There might be different setup traps. But when people put like this, when people actually do meditation, do not actually tap with that because of several reasons. You need to have a conscious level. You aware where you are, but meanwhile you go to the deep level. But the most, put like this, most monks from different religion or different Buddhism, or different other religion, they do meditation. Only very few monks can reach the high level of meditation without trapped into health issue. As I mentioned,
without the trap. So let me get what you said. So you're saying the majority of monk run into
people. Put it like this: majority of people who tap into the meditation, regardless they are professional, like a monk or whatever how you call it, healer or whatever how you call it, are not able to cure their physical symptom, emotional suffering, and mental health issue completely. They use the meditation to work on it, to keep that way. That's why they are constantly need a meditation. Need to tap into that to recover, or to what is called to do the cleansing. But once we are tapping into that zone, we don't need that. That can be a journey, but that is not the destination.
So one of the comments that I had heard to someone, and I had asked them, I said, what is meditation? And they had a really good answer. And they said, learning to die. And as I had asked more about what he meant by that, I started to kind of study a little in my own brain of what that meant. And I think what he was saying is that you're going through, you're peacefully losing parts of you as you go along this journey. And to be able to peacefully be able to let those things go, allow you to die peacefully.
Okay, that can be one angle. I maybe have a different opinion. Okay, let it go, because that's emotional detachment. That's a good practice. But don't get me wrong. I don't mean meditation you shouldn't do meditation. Meditation is a good way to practice, to get a sense on it. But meditation is not the solution. Meditation is a tool for you to testing, working on things to help you shift in another level. Although I was not doing the meditation, I didn't know meditation, but during the process when I do all the research, I have done different kinds of meditation. I testing everything because I'm a researcher. I'm a researcher. I research. I'm also a registered paranormal investigator. So I testing everything, and I deal with people who have schizophrenia, multi-personality disorder, or people actually cannot control their soul, outer body. I have all kinds of entrepreneurs come to me because of this. Yeah. So I tap into every angle, every energy zone to help to find a solution. So what happens with in the meditation state, put like this, how to check if we are doing it correctly is when you are doing that, are you able to heal what's already in you? Or you just feel calm and observe things merging? You can observe, okay, you have a cancer inside body pain, but are you able to come to the state actually you can cure it? So when I searching all this around, I have monks ask me to help fix the issue of the disabled because they use the meditation, even they do meditation every day. They do deep meditation, doesn't work. One reason, you talking about the soft, yeah, being subtle and soft, or being the competitive entrepreneur. Yeah, there's a gap. I share with you. When you are doing the meditation, you calm down, but you also need to have that power, mind power, actually to kill anything, actually try to dominate your whole body. That's including all the suffering, physical, emotional, mental suffering, cancel. I give you an example. When I was in 20, I feel my body, something not right. Yeah, I check, go to hospital, different hospital, check everything all right. I said something is not right there. Yeah, because I practice to protect my whole body, since childhood. Then finally, I choose one test I didn't do, which is cervical cancer. But when you are in 20, early 20, you don't check this. Yeah, when you are later in 30, maybe check. You know what happens? Then the doctor got shocked. They didn't know what to do with the report. One hand, the organ looks perfect, nothing wrong. But with the bacteria, it shows like a 10,000. I don't remember exactly figure now. It should be later stage of cancer. They said that they never saw a report like this. How could that happen? I said, what's the solution? How you are able to fix this? They said we cannot do anything. We have to wait until suddenly something explode. Then I maybe sent to the chemotherapy or whatever. Maybe I suddenly triggered and they have a couple months life. I don't want that. I work on your proactive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I think, okay, now I need to do something. So what I did is I didn't spend any time to meditate. That time I didn't even know meditation. I was busy chasing success, no time for meditation. No time to even think about that. So what I did, I still busy working, but meanwhile I know I need to kill that. So I start to use my mind power to kill all the bacteria. Then later I go to hospital, it's clear. Doctors still didn't understand what happened. I knew. Because I practice this mind power, and when you are busy, ambitious, you try to reach your success as early as possible. There are a lot of things you are busy, you are not able to handle it now.
You accumulate.
That's right. So
sure.
So what I did I actually park it inside one place. It's like the warehouse inside the body, and I sell it. So make the toxic things not leaking out. That's why they saw the bacteria index is very high, but the organ is perfect. If it's leaking, the toxic energy is leaking, then the organ should already have an issue. Then I should be diagnosed positive later stage of cancer. So what I did is then I think I need to save my life now. I cannot wait anymore. So I start, to use the mind power working on the body, and then get it clear. So I didn't do meditation at all. So basically, meditation is a state to what? It's a state that you are able to have the mind clearly see things at different level, different angle, different dimension without being distracted. Does that make sense now? People do meditation.
I think that it's and I think that it's really interesting because there's levels of things that you want to fix. And you'll notice that as entrepreneurs start to become more successful, they start to tap more into this kind of stuff. Because then they start noticing that the other problems are arising and the other ones are being fixed, right? Well, through this, I think I look at, in my experience through meditating, I've done it for many years, is that the actual form of meditation is the only structural way to get you into motion. So what you're saying is that after you pass the actual structure of meditation, you actually become a life of meditation is what I'm getting from you.
I put like this. It's like you play martial arts, right?
Yeah.
You learn. You maybe use a sword. You use a whip, or use a stick to fight. But when you hitting another level, you don't need all this.
Correct. I see what you correct. So
Yeah.
yeah. And I think what you're saying is the ultimate ebb and flow is that you don't need the art of sitting down and meditating.
You were detached from that.
You detach from that.
But that's right. But in order from you practice meditation to the level you detach, it could be lifetime. So in my secret formula, I actually cut all that. You don't need that at all. So I design for each client based on what's going on in your life, in your business, yeah, and teach you directly the practical skill what you need. And I do the reading. I teach you whenever I working with clients. Basically, I recording everything that I teach them exactly the part they need. Then they can know also how to generate the mind power quickly whenever risk coming from. Doesn't matter risk is from the what a trap in business in investment, or the trap is sudden in the coma. So I basically clients do not need to go to like what I have done my whole life testing research. So they just need to master what related with them, because when you go through the meditation, try to do everything, but maybe you don't need some part of stuff you don't need in your life, maybe not connected with your future. But then what's connected with your future, you're still missing out. That's exactly what happened with Stephen Jobs.
And I think I think more than ever, if you look at the way that our labor has shifted, a lot of the things that we would do, we would go into, and obviously there's a lot of labor positions, but there's more positions on the internet. And when you look at the loss of what you're talking about is the, I guess you'd say the rhythm of your life. You would go out, you would work, you'd be out in front of people, you'd be picking things up, you'd be doing all those things. And so that rhythm is going away. Our rhythms are going in front of this computer, sitting here, getting up and moving. And so there is no new rhythm to shift. This is it. And it without countering what's going on, what you're explaining is that we're having a lot of entrepreneurs create a lot of unnecessary pain and disease because they're not early on during that career of all of that pressure. They're not creating a rhythm of some form of mental, like,
is because they don't recognize the trap in the mind, which is mentioned in this book, but the high level is ecosystem. So they don't recognize the trap. So they follow the hypnotic rhythm, which means you buy the side products. Then that determines you definitely be catched by the human tragic ending. That's what I'm saying. So what they need to do is really generate the mind power. Yeah. But so I can only share the way how I generate. Yeah. So once from my experience, when I generated my power along the journey, it's like the rubbish is constantly coming. Then you are as a machine. Whenever unexpected rubbish coming, you immediately convert it to a useful power, resources to you. Because the rhythm is mentioned in this book, the hypnotic rhythm working on us, our physical body and mind 24/7. So we need to have an ability to generate mind power to against that. And also we need to also beyond that level to protect us for the next unpredictable issue. For example, like a COVID-19. So when we spend too much time every day doing the meditation, we are practice, but maybe what we are doing not related with exactly what we need now. That's exactly what happened with Stephen Jobs and all the other 11 cases I mentioned on the website. And there are so many successful, powerful people. They read people, they try to find the best investment, best steer track. Because the people who they trap you, they understand what you're looking for. They know you are in the hypnotic reason, and they take you to the hypnotic reason, let you feel good with them, so you invest money. That's why you can see the top level billionaire celebrity lose hell of money, some even suicide because of lose.
So why do you think that this feels like I mean, this is the brain. I mean, this isn't something that hasn't been here. Why do you think that this has become a long lost art?
You mean long? Okay. You asked a very, very, very deep question. What mentioned in the book is some people already feel scared. So I actually go to another level. What this book was not allowed to publish. Yeah, and it was not allowed. It will cause a big issue if published at the time when the author was alive. It was published after couple died and later on their family published. But this book actually is not heavily promoted. Yeah, because of the information in the book. How there is one level. Yeah, maybe I should share with here. Some people talking about, because the world is controlled because of conspiracy. Yeah, I actually have done this research a couple of years. Now I want to share with you another level. If you buy in that conspiracy, what you will do, you will start to like what mentioned in the movie, Matrix. Yeah, we have to find the system.
I see that you use that word a lot.
Yeah, you know what happens? If you tap into that actually is another trap again. So put like this, when you fight, that create energy actually will pull you down. You will be trapped into the rhythm. But when I see kill anything come inside your body is different. When you fight to keep your whole body system to the best level so you can kill anything come to you, is you protect yourself. You are not attacked. You are not engaged with external world in a way fighting. Does it make sense now? You're fighting to protect yourself because nobody can accuse you if you want to protect your body. Does it make sense? And through this journey, what happens is in my formula, I teach you how to convert the energy in the positive energy. Is like this. It becomes the light. So whenever, it doesn't matter the person in your environment, you know the person or not. Yeah, and even the person to feel bad about you, it doesn't affect you. You still can smile and love that person because your energy go to another level. Whenever you see the person suffering, even the enemy, even the terrorist is suffering, you can still help him to convert his energy to the power to benefit the peace on earth. That's exactly how I designed that formula.
And I think a great example, and this is maybe not a good example, but only one that I could explain, is that if you have a dog, and I have a pox or puppy right now. So I have this experience right now of a dog that's eating every toy. And also when I go up to that dog, it's very playful. It wants to play, it wants to do anything. But if I go up to the dog with no emotion in my body, no energy at all, and I just slowly go up and go to grab her head, she doesn't connect to my energy and react. And I think that's right. This is what I think the battle of the mind is as entrepreneurs, as business owners, is to be able to see what is it that we react to, and then holding that energy to be able to move to the things that are the correct energy.
That's a two-step through the practice. One is detached from subjective judgment, but most people feel hard to do it.
That's really hard. The ability to truly look at a situation and a person and not judge is very difficult.
Yeah, that's one way. But remember, we also have to judge. I talk about the two judge. One is detached from the judge, but the second one you have to judge. When I say detached from the judge, is to not judge being trapped into the wrong direction. However, you have to judge to make the wise decision, not being trapped. So that's a two level.
Yeah.
So because if you don't judge, you put like this, some people, some entrepreneurs, they were so successful, and they tapping into the zone, if they're spiritual, yeah, and they tap into the zone, oh, I have to be a nice person. And then what happens? And the people start to take advantage of them with the entrepreneur, showing the pity face. Okay, you are working on global peace. Yeah, you are solved. Oh, I need this help. I have met so many situations like this. I was even told, you are on spirit journey. Why you charge people? I said, because I also run my business. Yeah, if you come to me for business, for that kind of service, yeah, that's how I charge. And also then I started to teach, I start to divide my charity and the business. So I tell them, if you cannot pay it, okay, I can give you free for the charity. Then what you do, and you need to find a charity, yeah, talking to me, and I want you contribute to the world. Because you need to detach, to not trapped into direction, because people think you are kind, you shouldn't charge people. Because if you buy in that, then you actually trigger that person to a wrong direction. He recognizes he can take advantage of people, and then he loses his mind power. He loses his mind power, actually do not good for the earth.
So what you enjoy researching is going back to seeing where the original trigger happened, and then connecting where the path changes.
That's right. What happens, I recognize, I saw my parents, struggling, although my parents treat me so badly, but then that comes from their background. They were never free from their childhood suffering, their experience. Yeah, they live in the fear. They needed to find someone actually for them safe to abuse, to release their stress. Doesn't make sense. And there are also other reasons can connect. That's another topic that I was tracking. I even wonder if my father is my real biological father. That's another topic. But what I'm saying is, people actually are most, as I mentioned, 98% of people, that's the number to keep the dimension to exist. Most people have to trap into the wrong direction, then everyone have to mix each other. That's why you can see family relationship, intimacy relationship, and the politician, relationship between different countries, all, today good, tomorrow not good, all go through too many different angles, connections, positive, negative, all dynamic, back and forth. Why? That bothered me since childhood. So I think that's all covered up. I think I need to find out what's the needs. So I track the root cause behind the root cause behind the root cause. In order to do that, I have to risk my life. Yeah. Then, for example, come to the meditation again. I have people who was my audience when I speak, couple thousand people asking, oh, I know why my kids feel so scared when do the meditation. And also kids can even do not really do a meditation by sitting there, can tap into the autism. That's all the trap. So in order to fix all this, finding all behind, I took many risks, risk my life. I said, if I live in the fear or sense of uncertainty, I don't know what's going on, I don't want to live now. Because I feel more struggling by living with wondering the rest of my life. So I'd better to face the problem and the issue I wanted to solve, and I won't go inside that. You know what happened? Every time when you go inside the head, if you are so brave, you will see everything open the door to you. Nothing is fear, because the fear will give away to you. So in the unconscious mind, what happens is the truth here is power, real power. But it's put like it's like you look at it as a mirror, but actually it's a glass. You can see on the other side. That's the journey.
Well, that was incredible. What is your purpose? What have you found? I mean, there's a lot of purpose here. What is your drive? I mean, if you were to say that you changed this to this world, what is that thing?
Okay. Yeah, I want to be really authentic, because that's who I am. And from my childhood, the first purpose was to escape from tragic human destination, predestination, which I did the whole life journey. Then when I I spent the past 10 years to refine this formula to make it adopted to any aspiring people, regardless your background, religion, your skin color, your language, regardless. Yeah. And then come to the point, to be honest, at the beginning of last year, when the chaos coming, COVID-19, I said, oh, everyone fear of death. I said, I have no problem, but no fun for me. Maybe I should go to the hospital, carry the dead body, or even I really started searching and the cemetery, ask if they need a volunteer, because I have no fear, because I understand game, because I play with this. Rather than people, like you said, Monk said, yeah, prepare the time to deal with that. I prepared my whole lifetime, yeah, on that. So point is, when you prepare to the death, is kind of the imagination if you didn't really go there. So actually, I deliberately go there many times for fun, yeah, many times. And then I know why people have a fear of death. One, they don't know what might happen. Yeah, what might happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, yeah. I mean, it's a door no one has ever opened.
That's right. That's right. And I knew it. But point is, when people they think, okay, I meditate, prepare, it will not happen exactly like what you imagine. Because what happens if you don't have enough mind power can kill everything, like I mentioned in the whole interview, what happens? Some weird unknown things will pop up, but then because you never practice, yeah, then what happens? You immediately taken to the wrong direction. So my purpose, I think in the past 10 years, until now, is let's talking about purpose is 10 years ago, 2012. That's 8 years ago. You know, the end of the world, yeah. Then took me my practice to another level because I recognize what I thought is a master who have over 1 billion followers, or they don't really have the power which I thought they had. So I end up recognize I have to find the truth behind. Yeah. So that took me to another level. So then come to now, because of COVID-19, I recognize what's next. I have enough fun here already. I already know what's dimension, everything. Sure. I need to find another level of stimulation, actually generate more power, and then is to through different channel. Even like the interview, yeah. So many people heard my experience, my can learn from that, and then also through as many channels as possible, including different projects, including my acting. Yeah, I have one background as an actress. So actually, to what? To actually generate the more mind power through what? Through helping others. We what is called, we rise by lifting others. What happens as long as the reason I still here, put like this, I hope you don't think it's fear is weird. Yeah,
I think that all of it is weird. I think
okay, it's good because we are talking about something, and the people.
I think that the conversation should be, you know, I think that the conversation, especially to strong entrepreneurs, is that this is weird. It is weird. I think that the thing that we need to do for entrepreneurs is it's okay it's weird. Yeah. It's okay. And then once you know, like, for me to think that when I do meditation that I'm strengthening this weird energy ball that's in my brain, that's weird. I think it's okay to accept that. And I think that as long as we explain it in a tool form, meaning that there's an actual framework to get there, then you have entrepreneurs that are goal driven that can at least put that in some framework and then execute. And I think that
I'm happy that you are very open. So now I'm going to share with you this. I'm a person proactive. So I will not wait at the time when I have a car accident or when I have caught up with a COVID. Yeah, because the COVID virus, actually, there are different conspiracy where this come from. Yeah, I already done all the research. Then when that happens, I will not wait until the time and then take the step and going to die or not to die.
Sure.
I already practice. It's like you are definitely to get to the New York, and you don't want to wait until the last time you have pushed to go to New York. You wanted to find a chance and practice how to get in there, have a look if the New York is the right place for you or not. That's what I did with the other side. When I go into that, I was already searching where I'm going to head into. What happens is the place, doesn't matter where you want to go. People all want to go to a good place. Doesn't matter how good you think. That's the truth. I release this truth now. And this can be very confronting for those people who do not want to know that. The place you think is so beautiful is not the way, the path you go there is not peaceful. If the path you go there is not like you meditate, you feel cool, have a subtle energy, will not happen. What happens, like human being on earth, there are different hierarchy, yeah? On the other dimension, there are different dimensions. Why there are different dimensions? There are different dimensions, actually different hierarchy. If you heard from different religion, there are different, gods or whatever. So how to determine this level actually is all power. So by living inside the body here every day, by helping as many people as possible, I actually automatically generate more power because my formula is to generate power, through lifting others. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm doing all this charity, all this. Because when I was in 30, I recognized if I do charity like most other people do to kill the pain, it's like a healing process. That's not healthy. I don't want that. I want to go to another level.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Okay, so many people doing charity because they have a pain, unsolved the pain. So they go to the charity, doing the stuff, they feel cool and fulfill the missing part inside. That's okay.
So what you're saying is they have the actual money, they go to the charity, they give the money away. But do you think maybe because the money is so distant to the labor they have to get the money, that giving the money away is not that big of a deal anymore?
There are different ways. Because I doing a lot of research, I see so many people, there are two ways doing charity. One is give money, yeah. One is donate your time and the work. And when you donate the time and the work, and you start to have an emotional connection, but that also might be a healing process for yourself. Like people, they were abused and never recovered from the childhood abusement. Then they started connecting with the children, but they still have the pain. So every time that they go there, the charity connect with children, they start having connection to themselves. Yeah. The other way is the money. And so many entrepreneurs, when they donate the money, they feel cool and respected. They maybe at the moment feel good.
Power. Yeah, there's power.
Sure. They can feel the connection. They have passion, the sympathy all come out. But when they go to their business, their mindset turn around. Maybe a nasty person, nasty in business. That's a gap. So what happens? I always told entrepreneur come to me is, even you think some people, even they donate a lot of money in religion or church, you know what they think? They think if they donate money, then they can deduct the death, the harm they done in the society. It doesn't work. It's like you killed John, then you do good to Jason, but Jason is not John. Jason will remember your goodness, but John still hates you. Doesn't make sense. You have to fix the loophole.
That's a good point.
You have to fix a loophole. So what?
Yeah, because really, you're trying to, when you're going to be nice to that person, you're kind of healing yourself. You didn't really help the other person at all.
Yeah, because he hates you. The point is that so many entrepreneurs, when they think of money, I need to be successful, and I cannot care too much about them, because if I care too much about them, I lose money. But the point is, they don't see one thing. You think you lose the money, but you are generate in what is called enormous value in your mind power. your mind power actually can take with you. This will be able to take with you when you die. People don't know that. Most people don't know that. I'm not talking about the karma at all. What happens, for example, in my business journey, yeah, and sometimes I use money to testing people who try to partner working with me, because I'm doing the research, yeah.
Sure.
But then what happens? I just let them know what they did wrong. But then what happens in the mind? They unconsciously, they know they did wrong, but they didn't want to admit it. But the point is that will become to enemy in the mind. It will hack itself.
Mm-hmm.
That will trigger is the body or some health issue, whatever weird issue will happen, because that's all energy vibration. Is the mind power. It's a negative one. That's people many people didn't know. And there is a way that when you're working with people, actually you can shift that energy to another level, that you will overview the case, the business at a higher level, without just being short-sighted to see current situation and profit. It's like a Sterling Hong, the gambling tycoon in Macau. Yeah, if he could foresee what might happen when he getting older, when he die, he will structure his business, how he deal with the children, with business partner differently. Does that make sense? So what happens in order to actually escape from the catch of human predestination is you want to make sure you generate the mind power. And then that mind power actually can, what happens, all the mind power can generate from how you deal with money, with intimacy, even sex, with parent, children relation. Then you convert that energy. That energy is the time when you die, leave the body. What happens? People normally have a question about what is I? What is, people talk about soul, spirit. What is the soul? When we die and soul out of the body, some people even think they don't have soul. Yeah. The point is, once you are able to actually generate all the energy, mind power inside body, doesn't matter how you call it, is energy or memory, whatever. And all these things will become the weapon for you to going through in another direction when you are heading to the journey, when you leave the body. When you leave the body, you have to head in somewhere. But what's, use is like a rocket, yeah? Rocket shooting need a lot of resources, energy, right? What's the energy for human being when leave the body heading to? Is the mind power. People don't know that.
I think it's a big topic. I think that it's a topic that's very difficult to digest. I think that your journey of trying to explain it takes a special person, because you knowing and understanding energy, being in this field that you're in, you have to learn how to reflect a lot of that, because you're in that energy field a lot. So I respect you coming on as a guest. This has been a lot of fun. I think that the type of people that really are, I think that your experiences and your story relate to why you had to do what you did. And I think that that's what people will relate to. And I appreciate you coming on very much. Where can people find Dr. Angela Wilson?
Yeah, basically they can go to the path to the liberty. So I would like to summarize. Basically, what I want to emphasize is, as long as you generate the mind power, you can use to kill anything come to your body, physical, emotional, mental. That's what an entrepreneur wants. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that you're right.
Depression, anxiety, yeah. So I actually, the last point when talking about the after death things, I'm talking about the actual benefit when you generate the power, not just to kill the symptoms you don't want, but also benefits you when we head into the direction, have to leave the earth. Does it make sense now? Because people always want to know different purpose. They want to know enough. What's the benefit? Why I need to have that power, my mind power? Because then you can kill all the suffering. You don't need to live with depression, anxiety, PTSD, or fear, overwhelmed, or waste a lot of time trying to meditate the whole rest of your life. Does that make sense? That's a formula on that. So I coach people. Basically, what I do, I consult, to help you find the loopholes, and then help you find the loophole and how to fix it. Then you start to learn how to surfing through the energy inside your body and through your business. So it's not sitting there doing meditation, through your business, career, personal life. Yeah, all the information is on that website.
So they can find you at pathtoliberty.com. Dr. Angela Wilson, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you, and I hope you had a really good time as well.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here, and I love you all.
If you like this episode, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just like Nike is to athletes, Moved is to entrepreneurs.